Tonight you will lie down, close your eyes, and vanish. Not metaphorically. For several hours, the person you call you will simply stop existing. And tomorrow, someone will wake up wearing your face. We treat this as the most ordinary thing in the world. But pause on it. You willingly surrender consciousness every single night in the dark while completely defenseless. Where exactly does the you part go? Let me make the strangeness sharper. Across a full lifetime, the average person spends close to 26 years asleep. 26 years of doing nothing, aware of nothing, achieving nothing. That is not a quirk. That is a colossal investment by evolution. And evolution does not waste like that without reason. Think about a deer that sleeps too deeply in open grass. It gets eaten. A monkey that loses focus in a high branch falls. In the wild, switching off your awareness is a fast way to die. So why would nature build a creature that spends a third of its life helpless and offline? The easy answer is the one everyone gives. You get tired. Your body needs to recharge. Sleep is just rest. Plug in overnight, wake up full. But that answer never quite holds up. If sleep were only about saving energy, lying still with your eyes shut would do most of the job. You would not need to lose consciousness entirely. There has to be something happening in there, something that requires you to leave. The first real clue arrived in 1953 in a lab at the University of Chicago. Two researchers, Nathaniel Kleitman and Eugene Oserinsky, were watching sleeping infants, expecting calm and stillness. Instead, they saw the baby's eyes start flicking rapidly back and forth beneath closed lids. And when they checked the brain activity, it didn't look like a resting brain at all. It looked like a brain that was wide awake. This was the first clear record of what we now call REM sleep, rapid eye movement, the stage where the wildest dreams happen. And the deeper they looked, the weirder the picture became. During this phase, your body goes almost completely limp. Your brain deliberately cuts the signal to most of your muscles, a kind of nightly paralysis, so you don't get up and act out whatever you're dreaming. Your breathing turns ragged. Your heart rhythm shifts. Meanwhile, your brain is roaring. In some moments, the sleeping brain burns nearly as much energy as it does while you're awake. So here's the contradiction. If sleep is supposed to be rest, why is the organ in your skull running at full throttle while you lie there, unconscious? Clearly, sleep is not an off switch. It is some kind of work. The question is, what kind? And the answer that emerged is honestly a little unsettling. In the 1980s, a neuroscientist named Giulio Tononi began circling an idea that flips the whole rest story on its head. What if a big part of sleep isn't about restoring the brain at all? What if it's about deleting from it? Here is the logic. Every waking moment, your brain is building. Every face you see, every word you hear, every ping from your phone strengthens tiny connections between neurons. Learning is, physically, connections getting stronger. But that can't go on forever. If the brain only ever strengthened connections, it would eventually choke on its own data, like a hard drive packed with so much clutter it can barely run. Everything would matter, which means nothing could stand out. Tononi's idea, the synaptic homeostasis hypothesis, says sleep is the nightly cleanup. While you're under, the brain turns down the volume on connections across the board. The strong, important ones survive the cut. The weak, unused ones fade away. Read that again because it's a strange thought. While you sleep, your brain is quietly choosing what gets to remain part of you and what gets quietly thrown out. It's editing the record of your own day without asking. The evidence kept stacking up. In 2003, researchers at the University of Wisconsin found that animals robbed of sleep couldn't lock in memories properly. The experiences went in fine. But the sorting, the filing, the keeping, all of that fell apart. Then came the brain scans, and an even stranger discovery. During the deepest stages of sleep, the fluid that surrounds your brain starts moving through it in slow, rhythmic pulses, flushing out the metabolic garbage that piles up while you're awake. Among the waste being washed out are proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. Let that land. Your sleeping brain isn't powering down. It's running a cleaning cycle, rinsing itself, repairing itself, pruning itself. Maintenance that simply cannot happen while you're awake and using it. But the part that truly unsettles me is what this does to who you are. Because the activity happening while you sleep may shape your personality more than your waking hours do. Researchers at Harvard Medical School found that emotional memories don't just sit in storage overnight. They get replayed and replayed in altered form. Your brain revisits the embarrassment, the fear, the grief, the heartbreak from your day, and it reworks how heavily each one weighs. So, the version of you that opens its eyes tomorrow morning is not emotionally identical to the version that lay down tonight. The sting of something that hurt today may be softer by morning, or sharper. Your brain decided while you weren't watching, which leads to a quietly disturbing conclusion. You are being rewritten every single night. Not dramatically, not all at once, but steadily. The mind that wakes up has been adjusted in ways it will never notice and can never undo. Now, here's something almost no one stops to consider. For most of human history, people didn't even sleep the way you do. The neat 8-hour block we treat as natural is surprisingly recent. In the early 2000s, a historian named Roger Ekirch at Virginia Tech dug through old records and found more than 500 references to a forgotten pattern. People used to sleep in 2 separate shifts. They'd drift off not long after dark, sleep for a few hours, then wake naturally around midnight. For an hour or two, they'd be awake in the dark. Then they would slide into a second sleep that lasted until dawn. And this wasn't rare. It shows up everywhere. Court documents, medical writings, private diaries, novels. During that middle waking hour, people prayed, talked quietly, made love, mulled over their dreams by candlelight. Then they went back down for the second round. Sit with what that means. Waking up at 2 in the morning might not be a defect at all. It might be an old rhythm your body still half remembers, surfacing in a world that no longer makes room for it. Because today, millions of people jolt awake in the middle of the night and assume something is broken. Insomnia, anxiety, a problem to be fixed. But for most of human existence, unbroken 8-hour sleep simply was not the norm. So what changed? Light, mostly. Artificial lighting let us push the day later. Factories demanded fixed shifts. Clocks and schedules carved the night into a single block whether our bodies agreed or not. Your nervous system never evolved around alarm clocks. The clocks were forced onto it. And the collision shows. In 2022, the CDC estimated that more than a third of American adults are chronically sleep deprived. When sleep patterns break down, rates of anxiety, depression, obesity, and heart disease climb noticeably. Your body is ancient. Your environment is brand new. And every night, those two realities slam together inside your skull, and your health quietly pays the difference. Which brings us back to the question we started with. Where do you go when you sleep? Because if consciousness is the thing you experience as being yourself, then sleep dismantles it nightly. Your awareness switches off. Your sense of time evaporates. Your identity scatters into dreams, half images, electrical storms crossing billions of neurons. There is no you in there narrating the night. There is only process, running in the dark, with the lights out. And then, hours later, awareness flickers back on. You stretch, you check the time, and you assume without a second thought that the person waking up is the same person who fell asleep. But how would you ever actually prove that? The you of yesterday is already gone. Its emotions have been reweighted. Its connections have been trimmed. Its memories have been resorted. The brain survived the night, yes, but the precise mind that occupied it did not. Something slightly different woke up in its place, slightly different every single morning, which may be the real reason we sleep and the real answer to where we go. We don't go anywhere to rest. We go somewhere to be rebuilt. The brain forces you offline because the renovation can't be done with you standing in the room. So tonight, when you close your eyes expecting to wake as the same person, remember what's really happening in the quiet. Your brain is sorting the entire day, deciding what stays, deciding what dissolves. And by morning, another version of you steps back into the light, carrying only the pieces your brain judged worth keeping. That is where you go when you sleep. You don't vanish into nothing. You go into the workshop, and someone slightly new comes out.